All right, welcome everyone. Let's call this meeting to order. Warminster Township Board of Supervisors for Thursday, October 5th, 2023. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment for all our brave servicemen and women serving across the world. Thank you. All right, again, welcome everyone. We got a big crowd tonight. Have a couple great milestones here that we're going to start. The initial start of some firemen and other great things that are going on in the township. So anyway, I just have one announcement. Is we had an executive session. We went over litigation and personnel issues. And then I'll hand it off to Kathy.
I have no announcement this evening, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple. I just want to remind everyone that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and please schedule your mammograms. Good thing to do before the holidays anyway. Save your life. And I don't have any park and rec announcements tonight, but I do have a letter that was sent to the Board of Supervisors from the Friends of the Parks that, with the Chairman's permission, I'd like to read.
Go ahead.
This is addressed to the Board of Supervisors from the Friends of Warminster Park. How do you want to honor an individual's extraordinary contributions to Warminster Township? Someone that has spent over 45 years of their life making Warminster a better place to live and raise a family. Someone who was able to capture over $4 million in grants and expanded that to over $7.5 million in improvements for the Warminster Park system. Parks which improve all Warminster's residents' lives, for those that bike, hike the numerous trails, and for those that play at Safety Town or the Bark Park, or Ranch Joints for residents who simply enjoy the morning quiet. Someone who worked cooperatively with the Warminster Board of Supervisors, the Park Board, Warminster businesses, sports and civics organizations to ensure the residents receive the best service possible at the lowest possible cost. Someone over many years that developed outstanding full-time and seasonal staff whose main goal was to maintain the parks and create and supervise hundreds of programs, special events, especially summer camp programs for thousands of children who came through the camp system. Someone that had dedicated her life to too numerous to count nights and weekends managing the programs and special events for the people of Warminster Township. Someone who transformed a 240-acre plot of grass, a few trees, and a runway into a beautiful landscape, vibrant hub of active and passive activities available to benefit everyone in the community. This question is easy to answer for the organization who values and recognizes contributions of all its employees. Any organization that recognizes in a very special way those employees have made extraordinary contributions during a lifetime of service. Therefore, the Friends of Warminster Community Parks proposes that Warminster Township recognize and honor the contributions of Karen Whitney, former Director of Warminster Parks and Recreation, has made the quality of life in Warminster community better for over the last 45 years. By naming the WCP Interior Road that runs from the main parking lot, along the main parking lots to Bristol Road, Whitney Way. The signage and plaque will be paid for by the Friends of Warminster Community Parks, and it's signed sincerely, Friends of the Warminster Parks. And I personally are 100% on board with this, and I'd like to ask that this be replaced on the agenda for November for discussion and possible action.
Okay.
Thank you.
See no problem with that.
I'll second.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Janice?
I just wanted to say this past week has been kind of rough for some, especially one of our Warminster families, but it brought out the best in our community, and I just wanted to comment on that. This past Monday, there was a tragedy that happened in the Warminster Heights community, and when that happened, the entire neighborhood rose to the occasion. Our wonderful firefighters, many of them are here right now, responded quickly and was able to kind of keep everything under control. It was wonderful to see how well they worked putting out the fire, our EMTs that responded well to the medical needs of the family. But what was most important to me was the neighborhood that came together and rushed to the need of this family, that put together the few things that they had and brought to help this family. There's going to be a drive on Friday, so those of you that are interested in helping them, if you have things that you'd like to donate, at the community center at the Warminster Heights, if you'd like to drop things off. But I just wanted to say how wonderful it was to see how everybody came together to help that family. And if anybody else would like to do the same, please do so.
Okay, thanks, Janice. Judy?
Janice, is there a GoFundMe site for that?
Yeah, there is a GoFundMe set up for that. That's on Facebook. It's for the Soto family, Celeste Soto and her 5 children that were displaced.
Well, I just want to remind you that our big event at the library is coming up October 13th, where Queen Elizabeth II is going to come and talk to us. She's going to so if you'd like to do that, call the library, and we have room for about 100 people. And it's really an experience with these actors that portray past people. You would think you were in the same room with them. Library's doing well. They're building up a good clientele. They're managing to get language programs in there for people, and all kinds of exciting things happening. On October 28th, the Department of Parks and Recs at the Warminster Community Park, we're having our Warminster Day that was postponed to October 28th, and it's also Touch a Truck Day for people that want to bring their children to touch a truck. That's it.
All right, thanks, Judy. All right, we have some presentations tonight. This one's been a long time coming and a lot of hard work between the board and the fire companies and Joe Velton. Where's Joe? Come on up. The one in the blue shirt, right?
Good answer.
All right, so we have 3 new firefighters, Dan Pfeiffer, Gabe Fox, and Justin Brewer. Joe,
We
the
do.
floor is yours.
We do, thank you. So first I want to thank you for letting us introduce these new firefighters in front of our community. I also want to thank Judge Finello for his time and effort and putting together the oath. We never had a firefighter's oath, obviously, it's our first shot. And we worked some times out, and he gave us some guidance and put it together. So I just want to make that thank you there. I also want to acknowledge all the guests that are in the room. It's blatantly obvious that these are good people we hired. It's for a good program, and it's going to benefit Warminster. We're a tight-knit community, the fire service, and as you can see, they came out to support it. And so I just want to acknowledge some of the people that are here, the fire departments from Pendle Fire Company, Plumsteadville Fire Company, and Upper Makefield Fire Company, including chiefs. Past chief and brother Chuck Fox is in the room, to one of our firefighters. Assistant Chief Darrell Martin from the Pendle Fire Company, and Battalion Chief Harley Turner from the Plumsteadville Fire Company. There's also several past chiefs in this room from surrounding fire departments in Bucks County. I just want to get their names out, the ones I was able to grab. I know we got Warrington's Chief Mike Bean from Warrington Township. We have past Pendle Chief Rich Schramm, who's been in the fire service forever, and taught me Firefighter 1 for juniors. So that was a long time ago, and I'm glad to see that he's here. We have Chief Glenn Forsythe from the Newtown Fire Association, and past Chief Robert Hedden from Falls Township. And there's several past chiefs of both fire companies, and it's just an honor to have them here. And it goes without saying that we have Chief McDonald here and Chief Shapiro here from Warminster and Hartsville Fire Companies, and they're surrounded by their firefighters and officers of both companies to bring them in there. So I didn't want to put them first, but I certainly, the last but not least, our own fire chief and our own firefighters. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Gabe Fox up to get sworn in. A couple words about Gabe Fox. He's a Pipersville resident. He's joined by his wife Beth, children's Kaylee and Grayson. His mother Betty Fox and father Wick is here. Gabe Fox, you can come on up, Gabe. And Gabe's a 29-year member of the Pendle Fire Company, joined as a junior firefighter, rose to the rank of battalion chief, and he served every position in between, like most of us do when we get up that high. He's an Iraq War Marine vet, and he previously worked for TDS Concrete out of Feasterville for 23 years as a concrete truck driver. So we're going to lead off with Gabe.
All right. Your Honor. I believe it's on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman. Let me see if that's Gabe. Okay. All right, so Gabe, you over here. And you. All right. I just have to say, I've sworn a lot of people in on this dais, including some of the folks sitting up behind us. And this is truly a milestone, and this is truly a privilege for me to do this. I mean, I think it's the start of maybe something big, you know, hopefully. And it's been a long time coming, as the chairman mentioned. And it's nice that the township is on the financial footing that they can do such things. But again, I really appreciate Gabe and his two colleagues, you know, letting me swear them in. And I know they'll do a great service to Warminster and the surrounding areas. And they have many of their colleagues here. It's very impressive how all the firemen came in to support them. And this will truly be something to behold in the years to come, hopefully. Okay, so Mr. Fox, are you prepared to take the oath of office?
I am.
Put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. And Mr. Velton was being modest. This oath is a composite of his thoughts and my thoughts, so we'll see how it goes. It's the first time I administered, so just repeat after me, Mr. Fox, okay? I, Gabriel Fox, do solemnly swear
I, Gabriel Fox, do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of firefighter in Warminster Township
of firefighter in Warminster Township and Bucks County
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Further,
Further,
I swear to protect, safeguard,
I swear to protect and safeguard,
preserve life, health, and property
preserve life, health, and property
against fire and other perils,
against fire and other perils,
and to maintain proficiency in the fire service.
and to maintain proficiency in the fire service.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my
as a
office
symbol of the public faith and trust,
as a symbol of the public faith and trust,
and I accept so long
and I accept so long
as I am true to the ethics of the fire service,
and I am true to the ethics of the fire service,
and make these promises
and make these promises
so solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
so solemnly, freely, and a sign of my honor.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to Warminster.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Thanks.
Good to see you.
I'm not sure.
All right, so the next candidate is, or the next firefighter to be sworn in is Justin Brewer. Come on, Justin. Justin's a Wrightstown resident. Wife is here, Nicole. Mom is Amy. Justin's father is Tim Brewer. He could not be here tonight because he's the chief of the Upper Make Fire Department, and they're doing a critique from the floods, the fatal floods we just had recently. So he's operating a large event tonight. Justin has 17 years with the Upper Make Fire Company, junior firefighter to captain, and he previously was a career firefighter with Trenton Mercer Airport and U.S. Steel out of Fairless Hills. You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Velton. And just the additional comment, firefighting seems to be a thing that goes through family lines, and I know, some of the firefighters here have had relatives in the fire service, and, thank God for that, and we appreciate all their service. Okay, Mr. Brewer, you're prepared to take the oath of office?
I am.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Justin Brewer,
I, Justin Brewer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge the duties of firefighter
and I will discharge the duties of firefighter
in Warminster Township,
in Warminster Township,
Bucks County with fidelity.
Bucks County with fidelity.
Further, I swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life.
Further, I
Swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life.
swear to protect life,
Okay, health and property
health, and property
against fire and other perils,
against fire and other perils,
and to maintain proficiency
and to maintain
in the
proficiency
fire service.
in the fire service.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my
as a
office
symbol of the public faith and trust,
as a symbol of the public faith and trust.
and I accept so long as I am true to the ethics
I accept so long as I am true to the ethics
of the fire service,
of the fire service
and make these promises
and make these
so
promises
solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
so solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Okay.
Well,
Congratulations, good luck. Thank you.
One more, although I wish there was a lot more.
We're working on it.
Would be right if I didn't say it, so. Dan Pfeiffer, come on up. There you are, Dan. Dan Pfeiffer is a Plumstead Township resident. He's joined by his mom Elizabeth and his dad Ed and his grandfather Ed Pfeiffer, who is also a past chief of the Hartsville Fire Company. He's 10 years with the Plumstead Fire Company, serving as junior up to the rank of captain. He's a Temple University grad in communications, and he previously worked for Pine Run Village as an EMT and security division.
Okay. Remember, Mr. Dalton, Rome wasn't built in a day, but when it was finished, it was great. Okay, so.
Yeah. That's all over the building. 65 years old, Bill.
They're going to put it up on top of the firehouse. Anyway, okay, enough nonsense. Mr. Pfeiffer, you prepared to take the oath of office?
I am.
Repeat after me, please. I, Daniel Pfeiffer,
I, Daniel Pfeiffer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this
and
Commonwealth,
I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of firefighter in Warminster Township,
of firefighter in Warminster Township,
Bucks County,
Bucks County,
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Further, I swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life,
Further, I swear to protect, safeguard, and save life,
health, and property against fire and other perils,
health and property against fire and other perils,
and to maintain proficiency in the fire service.
and to maintain proficiency in the fire service.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
and I accept so long
and I accept so long
as I am true to the ethics
as I am true to the ethics
of the fire service,
of the fire service,
and make these promises
and make these promises
so solemnly, freely,
so solemnly, freely,
and upon my honor.
and upon my
So
honor.
help you God.
So help me God.
Here goes one pal Grandpa. Anyway, again, it's truly been my honor to do this. I want to thank Mr. Velton for emceeing, and we'll see you somewhere doing some duty in Warminster in the future. Everybody have a good rest of the fall.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we want to take a break for pictures?
Yeah, why don't we take a recess? Everybody can come up and take pictures with their families, and it's a big day for us. We're thrilled. And You know, I've been speaking already with the chiefs and Joe, and Joe will never let me forget that we need more people.
And Joe,
And, you know,
Joe's been very modest. This was not, and he put this project together from nothing. He did it, he had the chiefs helping him, but this was a rigorous selection process. And so we can be confident that our new employees are as good as it's going to get.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Very confident in
Thanks.
Joe Velt.
All right, so we still have a lot more work to go, and we're going to continue that process and see if we can't build one of the best forces here in Warminster. So let's take. Well, that's it. We're going to take a break. Well, moving right along, we thanks to Joe Velton and all his hard work, and welcome to to our firefighting team. And we'll move on now to Chief Donnelly with an update on the traffic and speed monitoring.
Good evening. How are you?
All right, Jim.
Jim Donnelly. I was asked to do a brief. So I cut my slides down from 150 down to 4. So if I could talk,
Good job.
it's Warminster Township. I could talk. I could give a 40-hour block on traffic in Warminster. But the introduction of primary goals. Oh, let me see. There we go. That's 2. Our primary goal is the purpose of the Warminster Police is to provide community and visitors with the most, with the highest quality of law enforcement service we can. It's a very simple mission statement. You'll see some, they're 4 and 5 paragraphs long. I find the easier the mission statement, the easier the cause, easier people can see why we're out there. Keep it simple, stupid is what I've been told, and that's what I try to do. So, but why I'm here tonight is primary goals of traffic enforcement for the Warminster Police is 1, to assure public safety, to 2, to reduce accidents, because we do have a high level of accidents. We just had one at Ivyland and Merms today. We had one last night on Ivyland Road. A young lady ran out from a car and got hit by a car. She's safe, she's fine, she's good. But we handle somewhere anywhere between 1,200 to 1,500 accidents a year. 300 to 500 are usually ones that are either injured or have to be towed or require municipal vehicles of some sort, buses, things like that, mass transit. And then the number one, one of the final ones that people aren't really aware, it's not for punishment. It's to bring your awareness back to what you're supposed to be doing when you're driving a 2,000-pound vehicle or greater. Your attention's supposed to be on the road, but as we all know, people are on their phones, people are talking to people in their cars, or listening to the radio, they're thinking about where they got to get to and what they got to do or what just happened to them, and they're not paying attention to the 30 feet around them on all 4 sides to make sure that they're driving in a safe place, in a safe area, given proper distance, given watching the traffic signals, using turn signals. You look at the vehicle code, Pennsylvania Title 75, it's a couple hundred pages long. And you know, you can pretty much be stopped for anything. Yeah, something hanging in your window, tint on your windows, speed, light out, you don't even know your light's out, your tail light, your front light, anything like that. So, but we're here to bring your awareness back to it and focus you in on what you're doing. We do that by a couple different ways. Oh, I jumped another one. And what we do really is we try to educate, learn and educate at the same time. We use speed signs. We have 2. One's up here on Norristown Road, which was one of our primary roads. The other one was Log College Road. These are temporary. They're not temporary. They're classified as temporary, but the way we have to set them up, they become almost permanent because the poles have to be subsunk. We have to get road crew involved. We have to find a space. It has to be open. We like to give people education going in to what their speed is, what the speed limit is, and what's going on. So they're kind of fixed on Log College and Norristown Road. I know a resident asked for one on Newtown Road. I'm working on getting one or the other moved to Newtown Road, and the only question I would have is which way do they want it? They didn't want it going from Street Road to County Line Road, or they want it from County Line Road going towards Street Road. And we'll look at, Newtown will be one of the roads we look at going forward. We have a speed trailer, which is rather old. It's our second. Our first one is done. It expired about 5 years ago. This is our second. It's probably over 10 or 15 years old. That gets mobilized, and that can go almost anywhere. Unfortunately, the ones up in the left-hand corner are solar, so they can stay out there all the time. The lower right, the trailer has to be plugged in and charged all the time. So it only lasts about 2 or 3 days. We go through batteries every year. And then what's not up here is traffic counter, which is, we'll go over some of that information in a minute, but it's a little black box. It sits out on a road. We strap it to a pole, and it tells us how many cars and the speed that goes by in each direction, depending on where we put it, what's going on. And that shows us really what the volume is on that road. And you'll be pretty astonished on how much volume on these roads, these side roads, or these, what you think is neighborhood roads, are. And then we do traffic details. We've run, as of October 3rd, we run 1,354 traffic details on mainly all 7 of these roads. Some of them are special details, stop signs we get requests on. I just got one tonight for Victoria and Henry. So I'll get that assigned out. That'll start probably either tomorrow morning or Monday morning. And they'll sit out there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and do it. These traffic details only last about 45 minutes. Every officer is required to do 2 traffic details a day at one of these target locations. And so that's where it goes. And if we run in 5, that's 5 officers. If that's one's a supervisor, that's 8 details we're running a day. And it's usually for 45 minutes, and it also depends on operational tempo. So you'll see the ones later in the night, our busy times really from like 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 1 or 2 in the morning. Doesn't mean we don't get other calls, but the threshold accelerates in that time period. That's when the schools lets out, that's when work lets out, it's when the bars get active, that's when the traffic gets thick. And we're 32 to 35,000 people depending on what scope you read. But during the day, we usually run, I've heard numbers as high as 85,000 people in town. When the schools are in session, we have the 4 high schools, we have the 2 alternative high schools and the 2 major high schools, and then we have the grade schools and the buses and all that going. And then, like I said, we had decentralized or centralized highway officers. We used to have a unit of highway officers that just worked day work, and that's all they did. With the reallocation of manpower, we have highway officers in each squad, and they're responsible really for the major accidents in each one of their squads going forward.
So that's 1,354 details this
As
year
of
already.
this year, since January 1 to October 3rd, yesterday or the other day when I created the PowerPoint or pulled that information out. Tuesday, thank you. Monday feels like a month ago, so we'll get into it. But these are some of the streets, or the major streets we look at, and we've identified they're really their main arterial feeder streets to our neighborhoods. Now, we also deal with Street Road, York Road, Jacksonville Road, and Mearns Road, because they're state highways and they really feed the thing, but feed it. But south of Street Road, just to give you an example, on York Road, we get 15,000 cars one way a day and 16,000 cars the other way a day. So that's a good amount. That's 31,000 cars just from Street Road to County Line Road in one given workday. But starting down at the top of the township, Delmont Avenue, Norristown Road, both sides, Henry Avenue, Newtown Road, Centennial Road, Ivyland Road, Log College, Davisville Road, and Valley. And Davisville and Valley are the last 2 because they are constant. There's traffic always on Valley or Davisville. Doesn't matter the day, the time. I live off of Davisville Road up by Bristol. It's constant. It doesn't bother me. I grew up in the city, but it bothers if the windows are open, you hear the traffic. I sleep right through it. I grew up underneath an airport, so I'm good. This is the big number. Delmont Avenue. We did a traffic study out there, July 27th to July 30th. This is what sparked. We did a big blitz on Delmont Avenue all of August. It was a mandatory detail. They had to be out there at least 2 or 3 times a day because they had 2,500 cars in that little short 3-day window. They had 1,373 southbound. They had 1,206 northbound. The 85th percentile, and you'll see the 85th percentile, and you'll see the average speed. What we're required to do is we can't cite on speed. So if you're doing 26 miles an hour, as of right now, municipal police officers, we don't have radar. we have to use a timing device. Speed equals distance divided by time. That we use devices that tell us what the speed is, what your average speed through a zone is when you see the white lines or you see our cones. But the 85th percentile is what we look at, because that tells us whether or not they're going extremely fast. 85% of the cars are doing 41 miles an hour in that time frame, going through that zone. So that speed limit's 25 miles an hour. We technically can't start serving tickets until it's 6 miles over that. Now, that's what the state law says. You start talking about courts and the requirements that the courts put on it, it's usually about 15 miles an hour, 10 minimum. So we really can't start cite until it's over 35 miles an hour to get it through court and hold it up in court and to put it up before. If they appeal it from Judge Finello's office, when he holds them over and it goes up, if they appeal the common police court, the common police judges like to see more of a threshold, so that there's really no argument on our device or this or that. If you're doing 15, you're well over the speed limit, and you should pay the ticket. But if you look at the average speed, that's the amount of cars divided by each other. That's 36. So we look at the 85th percentile, what the 85% of the cars doing on that road in that time period. Now you go down to Norristown Road, 281 Norristown Road is where the sign was posted. I don't know where it was posted on Delmont. The report didn't say. But from September 21st to December 26th, that's a little bit longer time period. There's 22,000 cars on southbound Norristown Road, South Norristown Road. Wow. That's almost York Road level. It's only about 9,000 off of York Road. That's 11,000 southbound from Street Road to County Line Road. That's 11,900, almost 12,000 northbound from County Line Road to Street Road. And you'll see that through there. All these roads are pretty much cut-through streets to Street Road, or out all the way out to Bristol Road, because we have 3 or 4 of the major highways that cut through this county: York Road, Street Road, Bristol Road, County Line Road. Can't get anywhere in the county unless you take some of those roads. So we're right in the middle of all of it. 37 is the 85th percentile, so we're right above that threshold for citations in that time period. So that means 85% of the cars are doing 37 miles an hour in that time period. But if you look at the average speed, it's 32 when you average it out. Henry Avenue, I've done this actual one twice, I believe, and they're pretty consistent in the last couple months since the residents came out. There's 9,000 cars from 18th July to the 22nd. In 4 days, they had almost 10,000 cars there.
Wow, that's nice.
That's a lot of cars cutting through. Southbound, which is out towards York Road, they had 4,471, almost 4,500 cars. And northbound, they had 46. So from York Road out to County Line Road. And that was 292 Henry Avenue, which is almost mid-block going around, catching it. 85th percentile is 30. We can't even cite on that. Can't even cite on 30. It doesn't meet the threshold held by the courts. And the average speed is 27. So what we would say is Henry Avenue is seeing a threshold, a volume problem. They're seeing way more cars than what they believe their road should be set. Yeah, they're seeing cars probably all the time. Now you'll see the occasional car that goes up. They're Henry Avenue, probably a police car. Probably a police car going somewhere and lights a siren or something going through that zone. So when you see the actual study, it's actually there's one or two that are probably about 60 miles an hour, which are probably police cars in the middle of the night going out. Newtown Road, 368 Newtown Road, August 20th to August 20th, 4 days, 16,000 cars. 16,000 cars, 8,100 southbound towards County Line Road, 8,300 going northbound from County Line Road to Street. The 85th percentile is 39, and the average speed, Newtown Road, we're looking to add Newtown and Norristown Road, and Delmont, we got a couple different setups there. We're good, but Newtown Road, I'm looking to get more lines painted because we only have one set of lines on Newtown Road that part, and that was from the hospital, and that was historic. So we're looking to get more areas set up in that area. Centennial Road, we waited till school started because in the summer, although the stop sign is a problem down there, Centennial Road doesn't really see a whole lot of traffic in between that time because Newtown Road's a couple hundred feet up the road, and they just make the right and go right out Newtown Road. They don't have to worry about that they don't have to worry about stop sign or 2 stop signs. But September 7th, September 12th, That's about 5 days. They saw 5886. Now, if I did that in the summer, it would probably be down about 3,500. So that's some of the school, 4,400 southbound towards County Line Road, 4,600 northbound. Average speed, 85th percentile, is 30 miles an hour. Again, we can't even sight under 30 miles an hour. 27 is the average speed. Log College Drive. It's a big, long road. It's got one or maybe two stop signs on it. Gorson and another one. We have a couple different setups there, but it's a cut through off of Bristol Road to get out to Sinclair, which then takes you to Valley, which means you cut out a light at Valley and Bristol, most likely, or you're trying to cut it the other way. But that's all 6,500 from September 27th to October 2nd, so that's another 5-day. 31 one way, 3,300 the northbound towards Bristol, 3,100, almost 3,200 southbound into the neighborhood and going out towards St. Clair. 33 is the 85th percentile, which is just about that where we can start sighting, and 30th is the average speed. And Ivy Land Road, where we had 2 accidents in the last 24 hours. Ivy Land Road, September 16th to September 21st. It's another 5-day period, 11,000, almost 12,000 cars on that road. Now, it feeds off of, it's like Henry Avenue, it feeds off of York Road, which is a major road, but so does Norristown. They feed off of County Line and Street, so they're getting a lot of traffic. 6,100 westbound, which is out towards York Road, and 5,700 eastbound. So there's probably people coming off of Bristol Road or coming off a street road trying to cut through the neighborhood to they're hitting that turn arrow at Street and Mearns. That's when the light goes red, that turn arrow goes green, and they just boogie down that way and cut through and get out the York Road that way or out the Bristol Road. And then eastbound is 5,700, which is coming towards the accident. But their speed is 36, 85th percentile is 36. So, I mean, it's a tremendous volume of traffic. There are some issues. We're in the middle of doing Delmont again. I want to see where Delmont goes after we did the August Blitz because, like I said, we're trying to educate and show and bring their awareness back. So now they're looking for us. They're looking for speed signs. They're looking for us coming through. I mean, I had a neighbor on Essex grab me and say, why are all the cop cars coming down my street? It's because they're up one end of the block of Norristown Road, timing them, stopping them mid-block, and then going up either up Kingsley or up one of the other ones, doing the loop, cutting through and cutting through to get back and set up again. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. We do it every day unless call volume kills us. The only time I stop details is really Christmas, Easter, and that's it. Every other holiday you get traffic details. So, if you have any questions, I'll take them. This is pretty much it for my presentation, but kind of gives you traffic in a nutshell.
Yeah, Jim, the signs showing your speed with the solar panel signs, are they helping? Do they help there, or do you think?
It brings your awareness, especially off a street road in Norristown. I haven't checked Log College in a while, but the accidents went down. We were having a lot of mid-block accidents on Log College for some reason because they were losing control of the car. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember it. Right before COVID, we had a car flip over and landed on the front porch of someone's house, and almost right below Gorson, or right above Gorson. So we were out there for a while doing the same thing we did at Delmont there, but it's a direct action. The details are set up by the sergeants. What they have and what sectors they have, they put their people out. And what this doesn't show is that but in our report it shows the time and the volume. Like Henry Avenue, I can tell you right now, from 2 to 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Not a doubt. Norristown, Delmont, Newtown, Centennial, usually, I'll use Centennial. Centennial is usually anywhere from 5:30 in the morning till about 7:30 in the morning, and then it stops. All right, and then it picks back up anywhere from 2:30 to like 3:30, 4 o'clock, maybe dinner time, depending on what the neighborhood's coming in, who's going out. Norristown, Delmont, Newtown, Davisville Valley, they're all 24/7. They're 24. You can go out there almost any time. and get traffic, except like maybe 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they look like the ones with the higher 85th
Yeah,
percentile.
higher 85th percentile. You can be out there almost any time. But we pick the times, we can see the times on the cheat when it goes, so, because there's some with no traffic on them at all, but you gotta intermix that with your call volume.
Right.
So, and what happens if you have 5 officers working and they're supposed to be on a detail and they get called off because they have a major accident up the street or a major job comes out? We're not Ben Salem busy, and we're not Falls Township or Bristol Township busy, but to implement that in this with our operational tempo, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
they
I'm
do a
curious.
good job to get it done.
I mean, if those signs do bring awareness and it slows people down, we brought this up before. I'm not sure if we're allowed to put them out, though.
We can put them out anywhere.
I thought PennDOT had some sort of-
I've had Norristown Road and Log College out a year. They've been out there for
Really?
a
You
year
could do
because they're
more of
hard to
those.
move. They have to get the poles, we have to get road crew out, they have to sub-sync the poles, and then we have to mount them and
Right.
make sure they're aligned and all that stuff, and they're just work intensive to get them set up.
Right.
And once we get them set up, they're good, and they just,
Right.
there you go. And what it is education, because they can't say, I didn't know. And then we sit at the traffic and write them and say, didn't you see the sign up the street?
Right.
Can we buy a few more? Are they
Well,
overly
that's
expensive?
where I'm going with
I mean,
that. Right.
it depends. I mean, it depends. I mean, everything, it's what you pay for, it's what you get, depending on what it is. I just saw one get 3 for $9,000. I don't know if they're solar or they're chargeable. I'd have to dig
Yeah, I'd
in
like
a
to
little
see
more.
the solar ones because
Yeah, they're
you
easy.
can leave
You
them
put
out.
You put them on.
Why
and
not?
you
I'd
go.
put a few more, I'd make the
Yeah,
investment
that's
if they're.
2,
Right.
4, 6, 7 streets there, that's 14 signs. One way, one the other.
Yeah, and if it does call awareness and, I mean, let's face it, some people are daydreaming. I've done it myself. I'm
Oh,
not going,
everybody does,
you
yeah.
had something on your mind and all of a sudden you look down and like, whoa, I gotta slow down.
Yeah, well, you just move with the flow of traffic is
Well,
what
that
people
too,
do.
yeah.
People don't intentionally go out and break the law, but they move with the flow of traffic and what the road's built for. You go up to Delmont Avenue, you could land a plane on Delmont
You're
Avenue.
right, I know.
It is big and
Which is why
wide.
that's so high.
Yeah, it's,
But that's
Yeah.
what people are, that's how the state's set up. That's what people are comfortable at. That's why it isn't ticketed that.
Right.
That's what the state says, hey, 85% are comfortable at that speed for that road. Doesn't mean what's posted, and that's why he has so much problem and has to have a higher rate. And that's, across the Commonwealth, but that's the number they look at, that's what we look at on designs, because they're comfortable. That's saying that's the speed.
Yeah.
And, you look at Henry, was it Henry? Look at it's down to 30, but we get a lot of complaints, but,
but people are right on the road. Like,
yes.
Delmont
So they're not
sits-
comfortable.
Yeah,
Right.
Delmont
on
sits,
Henry.
the houses sit back a little bit more.
And there's sidewalks there
But
too.
Henry, they sit right on the road.
Yeah.
Norristown, Newtown, or Davisville, they sit right on the road. And you can feel the traffic go by your house.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
curious if they actually do work to bring awareness, if we can't get some more of those.
Is there any grant opportunities for things like that?
We're trying to get grants left and right for all kinds of things. I have a couple different irons in the fire right now. I'm hoping money shakes loose in a couple different places. So if that's the case, I do have one. I have a good chunk of money for that lined up if it comes in. It's got to come in.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I can budget for it, but I mean, it's the guys and girls out there stopping them, seeing the police cars moving.
Right.
That doesn't hit, these aren't the other ones. Like I have complaints in the Speedway. Radar would be a huge bonus, but every time it goes into Harrisburg, it comes up, it builds a lot of momentum, and somewhere along the line it falls out of play before the session ends, and then it has to rinse and repeat and come back up the next one. But we're the only state where the local police do not use radar. And radar would drop that right down, because the minute you hit it with a radar, it's the actual speed. It's not an average speed through the zone,
Right.
which is what we have to do, so.
Need to talk to our state representative.
Oh, I've talked to Mr. Monroe, and he's a former cop. He knows.
Right.
He knows exactly what he's up against. So it's
The problem is not down here. The
Yeah.
problem is
Yeah.
everywhere else.
and they're worried about it being a moneymaker. And
Right.
here's the thing about citations and money making, doesn't happen. Does not happen. Even if I take a cop on straight time and they make $50 an hour and the fine is 100, or say 125, a normal fine is $25. Normal fine is $25. You know, for speed, it's $2 added for every mile per hour over the speed limit you are. But I only get half of the $25, or the township only gets half of the $25. I don't want people to think I get a check sent to my bank account for every ticket my guy's right and girl's right.
And people think that.
So if it's $25, say it's a $50 fine, that's $25. And if that cop's in Judge Finello's office for an hour doing that ticket, that's $50 an hour you're paying for that. You're losing money on every ticket you're writing. So what's the difference between writing a ticket and writing a warning? You're getting the same effect, and you're making a better connection going over. Our warnings are double what our citations are. We wrote about 2,500 tickets maybe so far this year. I'll guarantee our warnings are probably 7,500. Because it's just easier to write them a warning and not take the cop off the street.
Unless they're blatantly.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's,
Right.
believe me, we wrote 25 or 2,000 tickets.
Right.
There's 2,000 people not happy with us,
Right.
but they're breaking a law.
Yeah.
Chief, I have a
So-
quick
Accountability.
question. On Centennial Road, you have the sign on there. If it's a rolling stop.
I don't.
Okay, so how do you know?
That's not a Commonwealth law, that sign.
I want to know how you know if that's effective. Is there a camera there or something to let you know that they are?
Are they stopping?
Yes, how do you
Yeah,
know?
There you go.
I think it's
If
pretty
they're
good.
stopping, it's
I noticed
working.
it right away.
Yeah.
It's either that or the stop sign.
There are, but
This is-
there's some that don't, and they
this-
don't know they don't know that you have to actually stop at the stop sign all the way and then go. People are still rolling through
Yeah.
even though they're slowing down.
You got to put on the sign of
Well, here's the thing.
South Philly
While
slide.
they're stopping, they're stopping to read the sign, because they can't
Oh,
read.
yeah, right.
Because it's only this big.
Right.
Right.
They're stopping to read the sign, they see the sign, they're like, ah.
But going the
And then
other
they go
way,
through.
when the kids get out of
Everywhere I
school.
see those
Yeah.
signs,
Yeah.
it seems to be work. It seems to work.
I've noticed
Yeah.
the difference.
I've
I've
seen
noticed
the
the
flashing.
Camera up there, so it looks like.
But possible investment of a few of those monitors
You,
might.
you start putting
might help.
cameras up, you start getting complaints about big
I was
brothers
just
watching.
curious, I was just curious.
You know, and then you
Well, I
got a
think
whole,
we were
then you
gonna
got a
try
whole
that
other crowd of
before.
people in here giving you trouble.
Weren't we going to do that before? And
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
there was quite a...
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
I was
Yeah,
just
I mean, we
At that
have-
time, I was still in the
there's-
phone book.
There's a
But
big
no.
push right now, I don't know if it's coming from the state or not, for red light cameras. Warrington's getting red light cameras, Ben Salem's getting red light cameras. I looked into red light cameras when Abington had them. I'm supposed to have a meeting with the guy again, but our schedules haven't come through. We're eligible, it's a grant. We're accredited, we're 20,000, more than 20,000 people. The only thing that was different is that they can't explain to me who pays for the equipment once everybody gets educated on the traffic light and the fines still aren't up. Now, because they get paid out of the fines, the civil fines that come in. But once they go up, everybody gets fined, and then everybody learns, and then the fines drop. Who makes up that difference? If it's $4,200 a month for that red light camera, and you only made $2,200, who's responsible for that $2,000?
Right.
And they said, oh, you don't have to worry about that. Nah, that's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Oh,
Goes
yeah.
right off of my head. No, no. I have to worry.
So it's a
You don't
revenue
have to worry. I have to worry.
You know, it's unfortunate that something that benefits public safety becomes a revenue issue.
But they're coming. Traffic light cameras are coming. We're getting LPRs, and the county just put LPRs on several different traffic posts. We're getting them. We're getting County Line in York, and we're getting Jacksonville and Street. They just read plates, so in case we have a crime or something like that. Upper South's putting crime cameras in on their streets. Not Upper South, Lower South, and Ben Salem already has crime cameras. So technology's coming. It's coming slow, but it's there, and we're in a good position for both radar, red light cameras, and eventually speed cameras, because they're coming too. Because we're accredited, we're more than 20,000 people, and I think I'm over my time.
Yeah, time to get the letter.
Getting a sign.
Thank
Getting
you,
a sign.
Chief.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, you had indicated to me the other day that we had a viable candidate, hoping to bring her in soon.
Yes, Tuesday, I'm meeting with her Tuesday. She will be number 43. She'll be actually 42, 43 graduates, Police Academy, December 15th. So that'll be 43, and we'll be up to full staff.
Excellent, good.
When do you think we'd be able to have her sworn in?
Call her tomorrow. No, I'll probably I'll probably bring her in the next meeting. I'll probably bring her in earlier than that, and then the next meeting, I think, because the pay period ends like October 23rd, I'll probably bring her in that Monday, which is the 25th, and then the next meeting is what, the 4th or something like that.
Something like that.
So it's like the following week. So we'll get her in the pay period, get her in here, get her through all her paperwork, and then we'll have her here on the 4th to be sworn in.
Okay,
So
that's good.
we'll be
Thanks,
good to go.
Thank you,
Chief.
No problem.
Thanks, Chief. All right. Next up, WMA. Tim, Dalton, how are
Good
you?
evening. I'm Tim Hagee. I'm the General Manager of the Warminster Municipal Authority. It's good to be here, give an update again. Dalton George is the Assistant Manager, and he'll start the presentation this evening.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. It's always a pleasure to get here and give an update for what we've been doing. I'm going to get started with stormwater. Just to give everybody a reminder, for what we took over in April of 2021 was just shy of 269,000 linear feet of pipe, just about 50 miles worth of pipe, 2,100 storm drains, and 96 outfalls that direct discharge to local tributaries, streams. Just to give the board an update for us, our biggest thing is assessing the system. Our TV truck is out there every single day. So just in about 2 years of operation and maintenance, I would not consider the first year as operating, because that was the year the township paved 21 miles worth of roads. So we had a lot of sinkholes to keep up with Morrissey. So that was, for us, kind of a lost year. So we started hitting the ground running in 2022. But happy to announce our goal every year is about 10% of the system to be televised. So in 2 years, we've televised 65,000 linear feet of pipe. Within that 65,000, only 35,000 needed to be cleaned. So it is important to get in there and assess the pipe. That has, for us, resulted in some of our jobs. Typically, a sinkhole in the roadway is a dead giveaway that the pipe needs to be televised. So just a few jobs we have coming up. We're set to replace 200 linear feet of pipe on Calmia Street. So we have a lot of jobs. We have 7 coming up in the next few months. Pretty much all in the speedway, a lot of sinkholes and a lot of corrugated metal pipe that is completely rotted away. So again, for us, the TV truck is one of our single most important pieces of equipment we have within the stormwater department. When we were here in February, gave the board and the public an update. So for the stormwater capital expenditures, we had about $2.3 million. 2 things I want to point out: the Tennyson Basin and the Whittier Basin. We applied with the township for an PA H2O grant in December of 2022. So those funds have not been used yet, because the grant language, once you apply, you can't really get the project started till the grant is awarded or denied. The Commonwealth Financing Authority was set to meet in July. That has now been pushed to November. So we're kind of waiting for that announcement. If the grant gets denied, what we will do is just go through with Tennyson Basin this year, because that basin alone is about $800,000 to retrofit. As we had told the board in February, when we did soil samples, there was 5 feet of sediment in that basin from original design. And you'll see in my next slide what we plan to do with that as well. So the total grant that we applied for was $1.8 million, and that was a 50% match. So we put up, $900,000, give or take. So again, those funds are being held. Big step for us is GIS mapping. So what that is really your entire infrastructure, all 50 miles worth of pipe, all the outfalls, inlets, on a digital mapping basis. So when our staff is out there, they were literally with paper maps, and that's just not efficient in today's world. So our staff is able to do the iPads, and most importantly for our PA1 calls. So anytime you dig, you're supposed to call 811, and we have to go out and mark underground utilities. So it's nice our staff can look at one iPad and have water, sewer, and stormwater on one map now. It was water, sewer, and then pull out the paper for stormwater. So that's a big thing for us. Now, the next step with the GIS mapping, we're able to model the entire system. The system is outdated. Some of this pipe was put in the ground 50, 60, 70 years ago. It does not meet today's codes and standards for rain flow events. So we're going to model the system. That way we can kind of prioritize what areas are undersized for today's needs. And the ever slow process with FEMA, we do know Hurricane Ida hit about 2 years ago now. We've been through 3 program managers with FEMA. It's been a long process, but happy to announce we were obligated $1.8 million in damages from that storm. So that work should be going out to bid by the end of the year. They are on a reimbursement program. The reason typically for the delay for us, it was our first time going through it. And as I just mentioned, a lot of our pipe that's in the ground does not meet today's codes and standards. So for example, one location has 60-inch pipe in the ground. That location is actually eligible to go up to 72-inch pipe because it meets today's codes and standards. So it's a lot of studies and just a lot of back and forth with FEMA. But we are making progress. As I just mentioned with the Tennyson Basin, so for us, we know this basin is one of the most important basins within the township. It controls a lot of water. When this basin was built, it was really only built for the little subdevelopments in there, the small cul-de-sacs on Tennyson Drive. I forget the 2 other cul-de-sacs. But we are taking a bigger approach here. That big red line around there, it takes in over 70 acres worth of flow. So we are getting that to today's codes and standards and getting that to manage a 100-year storm for that stormwater basin.
So,
and then,
can I stop you right there?
Sure.
What's that basin designed for right now?
Less than 20-year storm.
Less than a 20-year storm?
Yes.
Right, which occurs every other week.
Yep. And as I mentioned, 5 feet of sediment, so water's really
So it's
just
pretty much not
passing
functioning.
through. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So this is
Right.
one of our most important basins to get our
Yeah, I
hands
just
on.
want to make sure that the residents understand what we're talking about.
Yes.
So 25-year storms used to happen once every 25 years. Now they happen once every other week. And that design now is going to take us up to a 100-year storm.
Correct.
Which happens more often than not
Yep.
now as well. So you're designing it to control a lot more stormwater.
Correct. Hold a little bit more flow back.
Right.
You know, the outlet structure is a very outdated piece of, it's really just a corrugated metal pipe sticking out of the ground. It's kind of completely rotted away, so it's really upgrading that and holding some of that water back and getting that volume.
Also some infiltration, correct?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's the
Okay.
biggest thing as well.
Good. Thank you.
Yep. So this is just some updates for the public. We do have some credit opportunities out there. This is an example of one of our public participation credits. So in partnership with the EAC committee and the Warminster Rotary Club, this was done in the spring. This is the front side of Tennyson Basin closest to York Road. We filled up an entire dump truck worth of material. And residents who participate get 15% off of their stormwater fee for 1 year. So again, it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of your time goes to a great cause. I pulled out pool liners and tires and shopping carts, you name it. It was in that little area. This is an example of our education credit. This was back in the springtime as well. We had Fred Stein of the Delaware River Keepers Network come out and explain just what homeowners can do on their property. So again, this is in partnership with the EAC committee. This is 7 o'clock on the 4th Monday of the month. Again, about 35 minutes of your time, and that's worth 1 year, 15% off your stormwater fee. As a save the date, and we will be putting a flyer out October 23rd. 7 o'clock, right in this building. Chris Mendel from the Pennypack Ecological Restoration Trust. They get that one right. will be here just to present because we are the headwaters of the Pennypack watershed. So we have 3 watersheds in our township, so we do believe that's an important topic, just so we can do what our part is to control some of this pollution, entering in the Pennypack stream. And just next couple slides are just some pictures of our in-house operation and maintenance. This is right here at the basin, right on Green Road. You can see the pipe was completely blocked, probably about 2/3 filled up with sediment. So, getting in there, getting rid of that sediment, getting some good flow, and some putting some ballast out.
Is that the one that was just installed several years ago? Is that at 8th and Green?
This is Green closer to Henry.
I was gonna say, it would fill up that quick, it's amazing.
Yeah, Green,
You know what I'm saying?
closer to
Right,
Henry
okay.
Avenue.
You surprised how much
Yeah,
sediment
yeah.
rolls through stormwater pipes?
Yeah, yeah. This here is, these channels are actually outdated for today's basin designs, but this basin is behind the homes on Delmont Avenue. Same thing, completely filled with sediment. It's hard to see, but the head wall in the background there, same thing, about 2/3 completely blocked with grass and sediment. So getting that cleared out, getting water to flow again. This was a pretty severe washout in Warminster Heights. So again, all the work that you're seeing is done in-house with our stormwater staff. So we're able to move, it really wasn't even moving, the stream is just getting rid of the sediment that you can kind of see on your left-hand side, getting that straightened back out, and we restored the bank how it was originally designed.
It looks really nice, too.
Thank you. On the left-hand side, it's a little hard to see, but you can see a white piece of pipe there. That pipe would get clogged. This is in a couple of the backyards in the Speedway. And then under the rock was actually a little trench drain. So we completely ripped that out, put a new little wing wall in on your top right-hand side, and actually moved and upgraded the stormwater basin. We were able to survey that backyard and make sure it was actually in the low spot of the backyard to collect some water there. This one here, we got a call on Orchard. A lady told me a car hit the storm drain and the drain flipped up. We went out and you can see the condition of that storm grate there. Funny story, a lady called, we went out, put a cone on it. She told her husband, watch, you're gonna get a cone on it and it's gonna sit there for months. So again, we take pride in the work that we do, and our staff was out there next day completely replacing that. So I just wanna thank our staff and taking on this work. We take pride in trying to keep a lot of this stuff in-house. And then we actually got a good deal on a used street sweeper. So the township street sweeps twice a year, all the streets. For us, before we purchased this, we would go out with rakes and trash cans, and we would be filling up trash cans and going back to the plant and dumping multiple times a day.
Dalton, it's election season, so we'd like to see that out there every day if possible.
Yeah.
Like in the city.
Yeah. So for us, this is an important piece of equipment that we just got our hands on. So you'll start to see this out. We've been very active in the Speedway trying to get that sediment, but you can see just from a quick snapshot what it does to the leaves. The fall is really bad. For some of these quick-hitting storms, you get the leaves blocking up storm drains like this, and so for us, we're just trying to get out there. Obviously, 2,200 storm drains, we cannot get everywhere, but if you do give us a call, we have a repair request form on the website. We'll make sure we get out there right away. I think I had mentioned to you before, we have about 75 storm drains that we know are kind of in low-lying areas that we try to hit before the storm and after the storm. But if we miss it, please give us a call, and we'll make sure we get there. Turn it back to Tim.
Dalton, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Centennial Road, do you guys have some temporary fencing around where that repair job was done? Is there any idea when the permanent fencing will be in?
So that's one of our FEMA locations.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I got
So
it. Understood.
that's set to be completely restored and.
Oh, great.
Yeah, the FEMA thing has been just ongoing and ongoing. And then
Yeah,
there's
so
a new
temporary's been up there for quite some
someone
time.
else takes over, and then it's another 6 months.
Right.
And it's been pretty frustrating.
So
Tim?
some quick admin and customer relation highlights. Our board meets on Monday. On the agenda is a zero water usage charge. So everybody's water use will be reduced to $0 for the fourth quarter. That's thanks to Myriad grant that we work with. And that's a highlight of municipal ownership. We get the grants, we give it right back to the residents. We don't have stockholders to pay. We don't have the taxes to pay. We're just a great value. We can't highlight that enough. We're about $39 a month for water, $39 a month for sewer. We're still a great bargain. When we look and compare to for-profits, this is how much it saves: $13 million a year for our residents, each and every year. We have you and the people in the audience, people online know we're having tremendous trouble, as everybody else is, with the United States Postal Service. Our bills go out. We get calls from customers said, my late notice came the same day as my bill. I guarantee you we're sending them out on time, but we're definitely having delivery problems. We have multiple ways to pay. You can pay online. You can sign up for auto pay. It's free. You can pay at the office. You can drive through, walk up. Yeah. But there's been quite a considerable amount of trouble with the USPS. Here, Dalton, he sponsors this hydrant painting contest with the local schools. Alex Bombas, she won the design. Her and her family came out as give her support while she painted the hydrant with that design. That hydrant sits right across the parking lot. Very talented young woman, and she did a great job. Water quality, we can never talk too much about this. We continue to provide a high quality source of water to all the residents. The new PADEP PFAS regulations came out. We far exceed those. The new regulations are 14 parts per trillion for PFOA. It's one of the PFAS chemicals. There's hundreds, maybe thousands of these chemicals. 18 parts for PFOS, and that's parts per trillion. I'll give you a...
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
While you're on that? How does that affect the wells that we have shut down as far as getting funding to filtrate those?
So
you know what I mean?
The United States Navy has taken the position that they're going to enter into a cooperative agreement with us for any of those wells that exceed that. So we have 7 additional wells that we have a promise for them to pay to reimburse us if we put treatment on.
And we've already done, what, 4, I think?
4. Correct.
Right. And at some point, we could possibly see those wells back in action if they...
That is an option,
Right.
yes.
Fantastic.
It's not as simple as you might think.
Right. I know it's
As I said,
complicated.
there's thousands of these. There's shorter chains. We'll get into weeds here. But PFOS, PFOA are 8-chain carbons. The smaller ones go through the treatment system a lot quicker. They're not regulated. So there's some heavy decisions to be made, what our water source is going to be in the future.
And how are the filtration systems working? They've been put in a few years ago now, right?
The
4 wells.
filtration systems for PFOA and PFOS work very, very well.
How often do you have to change, I don't mean to get into the weeds, but how often do you have to change the...
We are changing
filters.
about 2 years.
Yeah.
It takes about 2 years for PFOA or PFOS to come through. We pioneered it, resin treatment.
Right.
The standard was carbon. We're getting into some weeds, but carbon has arsenic in it because it's from the ground. And we didn't want to substitute one pollutant for another.
Right.
So,
Appreciate that.
the carbon producer said, well, you have to rinse it. All right, what am I going to do with the rinse water? Let's put it in the sewer. We run the sewer plant.
Right.
We don't want to have another contaminant. So We worked to get resin approved. We actually had to go to the Environmental Hearing Board, essentially suing DEP to allow us to do it. But it works very effectively. So the new wells are going to have a little bit of different design. The old wells were designed with carbon filtration.
Right.
As the process, it'll be a little bit different with a design that's focused on resin.
So just to be clear though, Mark, that when Tim talks about breakthrough, there's usually 2 or more vessels with the resin or the filtration medium. And when you start to see breakthrough in one, that's shut down and you run through the other vessel. So what's going into the drinking water supply is still non-detect.
Right.
So it's not like all of a sudden there's some some concentrations of a chemical getting into the system. That's not how it works.
Right.
So to give you an idea how tough these regulations are, we talked about arsenic. There's a standard for arsenic, and the standard is 10 parts per thousand, per billion, I'm sorry. 10 parts per billion. That's 10,000 parts per trillion. That's what that standard equals. 10,000 parts per trillion for arsenic. These new chemicals are, with the state standards, are 14 parts per trillion versus 10,000. So that's how tough these standards are. Capital improvements, we have about $9 million this year in capital improvements. So we wisely keep reinvesting back into the system to renew it, keep it up to standard. We did paving work, finished that for all the 2022 water main work. We have something pretty interesting. We put 280 loggers. I think we talked about this previously. It's a listening device. We talk about Big Brother. Chief talked about Big Brother. Big Brother's listening, and it's listening to our water system. It listens between, I believe it's 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, and it listens for certain types of sound that sound like a water leak. And if they come up, it sends us a notice that, at whatever intersection we have these on our valves. They're permanent. They send out a signal to the cell tower. So here's what we heard during the night, and we found a number of leaks. So we're tightening up the system so we're not wasting water, and we'll probably be getting some more of those in the future. We put new water and sewer main in. We did Kirk Road to Newtown Road through the park. That helped with disinfection. Without these wells running, we lose additional disinfecting opportunities. So it helped with that. That was a Myriad grant project. We did low pressure force main on Kirk Road, provide public sewer on Kirk Road. There's only a few places in the township without public sewer. And we did, I think we talked about it last time, we finished the last road last year for water main. We have water main on every single street in the township. Sewer pump station upgrades, a lot of money. We just finished sewer pump station 8. We did County Line Road to Norristown, went down Norristown Road from County Line to Street Road. We've done about 7 of those in-house, the upgrades to these stations. So some of them are on their 3rd generations of upgrades. We have backup pumping capability. We used to put backup power. Sometimes the electrical system goes haywire, the backup generator doesn't work. Help with electrical problems in that regard, but a backup pump does. And so that's the standard today, is a backup pump. We're putting those at almost all of our stations. Sewer pump station 3, I'll talk about some challenges that we have. Electrical equipment there, we're trying to get that upgraded. We had a pre-construction meeting, and the contractor said, "I'll see you in 50 weeks."
Oh, wow.
That's how long a lead time electrical equipment is. We just replaced the UV system at the wastewater treatment plant. We disinfect with that at the wastewater treatment plant. It's the environmentally best practice way to do that with ultraviolet light. It's about a $1.4 million project. We also have an innovative treatment process in there. It's called Nuvoda. We'll show you some pictures of that, but essentially it takes plant fiber, and we took compressed dried plant fiber and put it into our tanks. And the reason we did that is it provides the bacteria that breaks down the waste products at the plant additional places to live. So you have more bacteria. So it's like a wastewater treatment plant on steroids. And it's worked very, very well. We touched on this previously, but one of our challenges is going to be PFAS and sludge. Sludge expense for a wastewater treatment plant is a very large part of the operating budget. All the groundwater in Warminster has PFAS. So some of that gets into the wastewater treatment system, and so that's going to be a challenge. We do 10,000 feet of slip lining. We answered a call from Representative Monroe. Somebody was asking about what's his truck doing at this manhole. We do manhole linings. We rehab those manhole linings. We literally clean them. They spray them with foam, and then they spray them with a plastic product. It makes them better than new. So we do that on manholes. We also do that. We do slip lining in the street from manhole to manhole. We don't have to dig up the street to renew the sewer mains.
Impressive.
This is sewer pump station 8 work that we redid. The force main, we had problems with some sanitary sewer overflows. One of the last areas was taken care of with these pipes that were put in the street. We talked about the UV system. At the left slide shows a piece of equipment. That's a temporary UV system. We have to run the process while we're rehabbing it. So that's a temporary system. These are temporary pipes with temporary pumps, with temporary electric. We just did this is the final install, the permanent system. These bulbs go into the wastewater, kill any bacteria that are in the wastewater. This is the Nuvoda process. This is that plant fiber that we introduced into the plant and supercharged our bacteria colony. In-house work we do. These are just typical wastewater plant tanks. They have moving parts that need to be replaced. We do it in-house. We have a talented team that does these in-house. This is a 2-year project we finished up. This is another process in the wastewater process. The old process took up half of that room. That's what the new process does. It's more efficient. It produces a higher quality product and saves us on chemicals and electric. The wastewater team, we went the whole year of 2022 and made every single permit requirement.
That's
which
fantastic.
was really, really tough thing to do. It's the first time in 20 years that they had a perfect year. I'll be happy to
Quick
take any
comment.
question.
We can never underestimate the value of our municipal authority for our residents in our township. That's my comment.
Oh, thank you so
And
much. I
thank you.
appreciate
No.
that.
Well, what you do and what our whole team does, you can't compare. You talk to other folks that are on Aqua or whatever, and they just complain. We are so blessed to have our municipal authority intact for our residents. Thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate it.
Both of you.
We
and
have
all
a
your
great team. We had a luncheon for years of service, and we had 5 individuals, 2 with 35 years of service, 1 with 25, and 2 with 15. We had 125 years of service between just 5 individuals.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I can say as a member of that board, the employees at the WMA are invaluable. I mean, when something is amiss and they have to fix it, because most people, they just turn their water on and here's water. Or they flush their toilet or everything goes down the drain, it's gone. They don't understand the entire process before you can discharge that to a stream. And it's an incredible amount of work, and I know these guys spend a lot of time. If they have to get a job done on a pumping station or anything that has to get done, they're there until that job's finished.
Yeah.
It's an incredible dedication, and I've seen it firsthand over there. It's incredible.
It's impressive.
It really is impressive.
Yeah, he took me for a tour. I'll never forget it. Yeah, it was amazing, all the different steps and procedures and.
He took Bernie O'Neill and I for a tour several years ago, and we saw all the plants. He said, "You want to see the sewage plant?" We said, "No, we're good. We're good for now."
You know, it's actually not. It's quite a treat. I've been in so many you don't even notice.
Yeah, one of our core functions is to provide fire protection to the township. So we make sure all those fire hydrants work. The brave guys over here before us go into these fires. We just provide the water. When Seafood America caught fire, to give you some scope of how much water that is, the township residents usually use about 2.8 million gallons a day. That fire was 2 million gallons.
Wow.
So we had to make sure we have enough capacity in the system to be able to fight those types of fires. So again,
That's a.
core function of the authority.
Yep.
So we thank you.
My question is for the chief, and how many of those Henry Avenue trips are from the WMA trucks?
We're bringing down the average.
I think at least there was a Tesla spotted there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
From the our pre-meeting, Tim, what's you got something going on Gibson Ave, WMA?
Gibson Avenue.
There's new lines and stripes and arrows painted on the roads.
Could have just been a PA one call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
We don't have any project that's going
Okay,
on there
good.
now. It was probably PA one.
Yeah, it's a mark out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means somebody else is going in.
So the other thing that now we have a sweeper, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Township.
Yep.
Now you guys have a sweeper because I know as part of the MS4.
Sweeper fight.
Well, it's part of the MS4 plan and it's mandated by the Pennsylvania DEP how many times we're supposed to sweep all our roads per year, and we don't make it. It's hard to make even with 2 sweeping pieces of equipment. So, you know, it's an investment that's value added, and it'll help us meet the MS4 permit.
Where'd you get it from?
We got it from Northampton Township for $20,000.
And congratulations for meeting all the permit requirements, because I know in times of low flow, like in the summer when it's hot, there's not a lot of rainfall, that's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And one last thing is that when the lining of the sewer lines, Tim didn't have a video of that, but there are millions of gallons of water infiltrating our stormwater piping through joints, old joints that are leaking, cracked pipe and things of that nature that we have to treat before it goes out and actually contributes to the PFAS chemical contribution in our wastewater. But lining these pipes eliminates that, and it cuts down on the amount of, we're actually moving forward in an incredible pace of eliminating the majority of the infiltration from groundwater into our sewer system, and that's a great feat.
That's
We have an incredible system that we don't want to hand to someone else.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
We would like to keep it here. You know, our employees live here, and we drink the water here. We don't want to put it in someone else's hands to determine what the standards are. And we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, see you guys. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Dalton.
All right. Okay. Any land use matters?
No.
All right, it's time. Public comment. All right.
Keep going.
Keep going. Consent agenda. All right.
Gotta read those.
Yeah, I know. I do. All right. Consider approval of Board of Supervisors minutes dated September 7th, 2023. Some fascinating reading there. Consider approval of Bucks County Federated Library System Agreement. Consider Bucks Bagels, release number 3, final escrow account in the amount of $7,752.95.
That's a lot of bagels.
John, you would have had a lot of explaining to do on that one. All right, consider resolution approving joining a municipal consortium to propose legislation amending Act 12 of 2016 to oppose legislation and other actions that would negatively impact water and sewer customers, and agreeing to pay an annual fee of $250 towards offsetting the costs of the consortium. Consider 890 York Road, Phase 1 improvements, release number 2 from the escrow account in the amount of $30,292, and Phase 2, release number 1 for $91,963.75. And consider authorizing Township Manager Tom Scott to execute an engagement letter with Witham, Smith, and Brown of Princeton, New Jersey for forensic accounting services, and we'll get into that. And then to consider appointment for a library board vacancy. Motion,
Motion.
Second.
okay? Shall we go through them?
Quick question, the appointment to the library board, who was that?
There's a letter here, and I believe this was advertised
Yeah, that's
as well. So
I just didn't-
Pat Henderson.
Pat Henderson to fill out the term of Kyle that,
Okay,
Yeah,
good. I just didn't want to put a name with the
yeah.
motion, that's all.
you know Pat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, most of this stuff is, you want to talk about the resolution approving the joining of the municipal consortium?
Yes, I will, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. A few months ago, several of the townships and boroughs and authorities located in various places in Bucks County that had not yet dealt with a private pursuer of a public water and sewer system have put the consortium together to, at the request of the Bucks County Association of Township Officials, to keep an eye on legislation in Harrisburg, to recommend legislation, and to get a better understanding that we can share with all the residents of Bucks County the benefits of having the systems owned by the public entities that own them now. The big mover and shaker on this was the proposed sale last year of the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority, which has, I'm assuming, and our previous guests were also involved in this, was the big driver in this consortium. We meet twice a year, and we met the other day, and we got a great lecture on Lake Galena. Turns out it's pretty good water, evidently, and so it's not like a regular Bucks County Consortium municipality thing. It's kind of a, hey, who wants to join? Bristol Borough's in it, and it goes all the way up to Doylestown Borough. So there's only a handful of us involved, and several municipal authorities, including 2 from Monco. Monco's involved. So it's new and it's up on its feet now, and I'm sure over the next year or so we're going to have a better idea of, what legislation proposal we want to share with the public here at this level, and what regulatory requirements are issued by the state.
Yeah, I mean, Act 12 it's a rather large bill, but I think everybody should familiarize themselves with it. But what it does is it makes it much easier. It puts an onus on municipal authorities like ours to operate, and makes it much easier for for-profit water companies to purchase said systems. It's been around for a while, and we'd like to make sure that actually personally, I would like to make sure that it loses its teeth, so to speak, especially that we like to control our water and sewer system and not have some other stockholder in California or Texas, take care of that for us. So that's kind of in a nutshell. I mean, sure, I'm not giving it justice, but that's my interpretation of the law.
Picato was involved in the drafting of the resolution language, didn't he? We took ours from the WMA, who's also involved in the consortium, so,
Was that a fair assessment, Tim?
yeah, Tim, how'd I do? B plus?
C-.
It's the Tesla comment, right?
Okay, so I don't know if there's any questions or comments on that from the board?
No?
Okay. Now, the big one here that the public needs to know about is the authorizing Mr. Scott to execute an engagement with the Forensic Accounting Service. And if you may give me some light to here, Tom, I'll give my analysis of this. Our assistant manager, Lisa's been doing a fantastic job making sure L&I collects the fees that we're supposed to be getting for permits and everything else that goes through L&I. And what she's noticed is there's an incredible disparity in fees collected from, I guess, 2022 and back?
Versus this year.
Versus this year, yes. Now, we know during the pandemic, everyone was fixing their houses and doing all kinds of additions and renovations, and that continued on for the last couple of years. And our permit fees this year are double what they were for the previous years. So we want to make sure that we know where the money went, because it was always my question when I got here: where's all the money? So that's the reason for the forensic accounting of our L&I books. Any questions, comments?
Well, you and I had a lengthy discussion about it yesterday, and I
Yes,
feel that
yes, we did.
if fees were improperly charged or whatever, we need to know about it.
Right.
And how it happened, so it doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. I mean, to put safeguards in so it doesn't happen.
Correct.
Transparency.
Yes. Yes.
So I have no problem with that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the public? All right, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Tom. All right.
Thank you.
Mr. McKee, Finance Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion, I'll ask for a second, that we approve the bill list dated September 21st, 2023, in the amount of $833,547.90. The supplemental bill list dated September 29, 2023, in the amount of $1,160,147.33. So a total of $1,993,695.23.
Second.
All right. Any questions or comments from the board, from the public? Let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. John, you're up. Good evening.
So I will try and be a little bit shorter than the WMA, but I cannot promise to be any more entertaining than them. So looking at the general fund, through the end of August, revenues are up almost $935,000. Some of the same things that were going on month to month. The earned income tax revenue is up $289,000 or 8%, which is tracking similar to the county. The same thing that I say every month, the transfer taxes are down because last year was up so much. They're down $182,000. What's really leading to this big increase in revenue, these are one-time fees of building permits. I know we just talked about permit fees. Just the one single line item of building permits, not including electric, plumbing, or anything of that, it's over $1 million above last year. We did get some really big ones with Christ Home, Tesla, and other things, but even that, these are like, the one good thing is it's nice to have, but we can't count on them every year. So as we start getting into budget season, it's awesome to have, but we can't put that into the budget. On the expense side, expenses are up, $904,000. With those permit fees going up, our expenses go up on the permit side because a percentage of every permit goes to the subcontractor that's doing the permits and the inspections. So that's the real big line item. That's up $752,000. So as much as permits up and the revenue looks great, expenses go up at the same time. So overall, we're looking in the general fund, we're about $30,000 better than we were last year. So we're almost exactly where we were last year on a percentage basis. On the expense side, the really good thing is we're only at 58% of expenses compared to budget when we're 67% through the year. Most of our expenses are flat throughout the year, evenly divided. Come October, that's when we do, like tonight, I believe the board signed the checks for the MMOs. That's $2.5 million. So when we hit October, that's when we'll actually be budgeted expenses should be what the actual expenses are on a month-to-month basis. The good thing with these extra revenues, though, is as we're preparing the budget, we're looking at what we have in reserves and fund balance. And the one thing to consider is, as we're doing the budget presentation, is to think about moving some of the money, excess money we have in the general fund, over to the capital fund so we can keep doing these projects that we're doing, paving roads and everything like that every year, and just keep up the progress that I feel like we started for the last 3 years, that we just want that ball to keep rolling.
Absolutely.
You keep
Yes.
it rolling, John.
Yes.
I have every confidence.
So, John, also, while you're there, so in 2020, the budget that was passed in 2019 included a $2.5 million deficit. Right now, we have a decent amount of surplus that we've actually moved to Univest.
Yes.
And how much are we collecting interest on that?
So on a monthly basis, we work for, let's say the general fund had $9 million in it. We were getting about $700 a month. On $5 million, we're getting $23,000 a month.
So we're getting $23,000 in interest a
So we
month.
transferred $5 million from the capital and $5 million from the general.
Mhm.
So next month, we should be getting over $45,000 in interest alone, compared to a couple $100.
Well done.
We were all doing the happy dance after we received it.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
No, I just wanted to,
And it's a-
bring that up. That's fantastic,
It
because in
is.
4 years, we turned a $2.5 million deficit into a $5 million surplus.
and I definitely want to make sure this is clear. It's not in a CD, it's completely liquid money.
Right.
That if we need it, we have available to us at any moment. So it's just sitting there in a money market that we could take back and write a check off of
Right.
any minute.
Right. And that's a testament to you and the manager and the rest of the staff. Well done.
Right, to go from bankruptcy to surplus is amazing. And I give you all the credit in the world with you and your staff, our manager.
And especially as we get through the budget, we are looking at what kind of reserves every fund has. Even Park and Rec has some money. It's like, oh, can we add that to the fund so the Park and Rec can start making more interest too?
Right.
So that's my next step, is start looking at the smaller amounts, see how much, even the golf fund has extra cash. We can put that in there, start making more money
Right.
on it.
Start earning on our
Yeah,
revenues.
it's just sitting there, so why not?
Yeah,
make money on
well,
it?
I mean, the more we make, the more we can return to the community in the form of road paving, parks and rec programs, and upgrades, and everything else to make it a better community.
And the interest rate is tied to whatever the Fed does, so as the Fed starts lowering rates, because I can't see them raising them anymore, the interest rate may go down, but it's still over 5%. So,
Right.
like right now, at the end of September, it was 5.5%. So,
Yeah.
the only other thing I want to talk about, just because it's been a while since I talked about any other funds besides the general, is the golf fund, because these are through the end of August, which I call the unofficial end of summer. So we'll see how the golf fund was doing. Revenues were actually up $403,000.
Wow.
And expenses were only up $207. So the golf fund is doing excellent. It is like one of the greatest assets the township has, because we're the sole owner of that asset. So if there's any dividends, we could start transferring some of that money out to other funds to pay for road paving or the general fund.
I thought that was the original plan,
Yes.
wasn't it, Mark? The original
yeah.
plan? For it to pay for services?
It was.
We always figured if they could generate a mill, sustain itself, have a fund balance in itself, and generate a mill over to the township,
Yeah.
that's a home run.
Well, now
And
it's
we're able to
doing
do that
better,
with,
yeah.
apparently with what it's doing.
Like looking
And,
through
and,
the,
and it is a fantastic, it's in great shape.
Ah.
It's one of the best.
looking through the history, there was years where it made like $90,000. Last year was over $1 million profit.
Right.
So like right now is like the prime time for golf. Some of the big revenues, green fees are up 140,000 from last year. And we thought last year was great.
Yeah.
Card fees are up 68,000. I know we did a small increase to the card fees. The big one, outings and benefits, or banquets, are up 93,000. And this is before September and October, where a lot of outings and a lot of these banquets are going to start happening there. So I think the next couple of months, that number is going to skyrocket and be well above last year.
I want to give Dalton George a shout out in the back of the room there. He had a lot to do with straightening out how we ran golf outings here when Dalton was employed over there. Because it was kind of a mess. And when Dalton took over and started running the outings, and we can't take anymore. We have so many. So just want to give a shout out while you're in the room. Thank you. It's true.
It is true. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. It's nice to hear that my hair's not going to fall out again. At least not on the finance side.
We'll wait till the second meeting in November with the budget presentation.
Right,
And
right.
John, if you have any real
I
bad
think
news,
we'll
would
be
you wait till
okay.
January 1st?
Yes.
I'll be joining the club with Mark. We'll be shaved heads.
Any questions before I step away?
No, again, you guys are doing a fantastic job, and we
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. No unfinished business. Is there any new business? No. All right. Thomas, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I want to follow up on something that John touched on with the permit fees. And much like the golf course, where we have a great strategic partner in Spirit Golf that does a great job of running the golf course. And if you look at the numbers in the golf fund from the financial statement through August, they are really impressive. And the same thing now with the Barry Isaac Group running the Department of Licenses and Inspections. The revenue difference year-to-date for building permits is, through August was $1.175 million compared to the same time period last year was 170,000 and change. So we did collect $500,000 from permit fees for the Christ Home project. But even if you pull that out, and there were a couple other big ones, but not as big as that, quite frankly, I think, like the fees Tesla paid, or Seafood America, where they paid for their permits in January. Those are to be expected, because you're going to get those commercial jobs each year. And the Barry Isaac Group has put a lot of elbow grease into making sure that they're getting the permits, they're getting the permits issued, they're collecting the fees, they're doing the inspections. And if you go down there, it's like an ant colony these days. The rooms are, it's very busy. It almost looks like they're working in a what do you call a busy office. I had something in my mind, I forgot it. So it happens. And we're still, and we're going to hear about this for the next couple of months, because we're talking about the budget. We're talking about new options that we have available to us for the software program for where we're going to get a couple of, now that we have the firefighters, professional firefighters, paid firefighters, they're also going to be doing inspections. So they're going to take some pressure off the inspections office on Bristol Road, and we're going to be able to use those guys as well for the code enforcement, the building inspections, plan review, helping people out with their questions, and so on and so forth. The one thing I wanted to go over very quickly is I think is emblematic of the improvement we've seen, and that is what we just generically identify in the budget and the financial systems as rental licenses. So apartments have to get rental licenses, and they pay annually, and we do an inspection. And the inspections are based on, the minimum standards in the housing code. They're there to protect the people that live there. They're not there to protect the landlords. They're there to make sure that the people who are renting the apartments, the people who are renting the condos, there's a bare minimum of safety and sanitation involved in the, for the people that live there. So far this year, to date, we've collected $138,100 on that. This was dead in the water last year, this program. And Barry Isett Group, working with Lisa, put this program together, and they have already inspected the apartments at Rosewood, Charter Arms, Fox Run, the Glen at Bucks, Jacksonville Station, Madison Court, Park Place, Rosewood Court West, the stations at Bucks. So, and then they're gonna get to the rest before the end of the year. That's several hundred dwelling units inspected already this year, just in the last few months. So these guys have hit the ground running, and we've still got a little bit farther to go, but having collected $138,000 in rental fees versus this time last year was $100,000, so it's running $38,000 above last year. And I'm not trying to make this something about how, this program can be better, should have been better. It's important to get these places inspected. We just heard about a fire tonight, right? And we heard, every once in a while, we hear from Joe, every couple of weeks there's another one. The rental inspections help, the fire inspections help. The preventative stuff that the inspection programs do, not just in Warminster, but all over the place, are very important. And with that, I will thank you for your time and close my mouth. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Yeah, I think that's, it's about time. We got back to the way things should be, to protect the public. And these, and now, by the way, Mark, I don't know if you've been down to L&I lately, but you can go in there anytime, and there's two people in there to see you.
That's good.
And
Good to know.
plus, the systems are being updated to the 21st century. We don't run paper ledgers like Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol anymore. You can actually apply for permits, I believe, online now.
We're working there.
Well, all right, we're getting to that point,
We're switching
yes.
the program. We're getting a new program in that the board approved a couple meetings ago. We're hoping to have it live by January 1st. So, and it helps to, it's going to help make the more options for the applicant, more options for the people that are reviewing it.
I'll always be in with the drawing with stick people.
Right.
Well, cocktail napkin?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's still an option. Quite
Right.
frankly, that is still an option.
Good,
And,
good to hear.
But when you're talking about permits that involve building permit review, plumbing review,
Oh, yeah,
electrical
yeah, I
review,
understand.
complex permits, that's, the system is being geared towards those, so they can be handled quickly, and they can be issued more effectively.
I know, getting back to the fire inspections, when Joe Velton was hired here and began doing commercial inspections, Mike was getting calls every day. We were never inspected before. What's going on here?
Right.
Should have been inspected every year.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember also in 2020, some of the line items for code violations and other things was zero. I mean, is anybody out there looking at it, And by the way, thanks to the residents too for applying for permits, because that's another thing that
I know you and I have talked about it. I'd
Yes.
still like to see permits in a window.
Yeah, as they used to be.
Yeah, I'd still like to see that.
Right. Well, let's go through some baby steps
We'll get
first.
there.
Yeah, we'll
No,
get
they-
there, right.
The guys in Bristol Road say that it's happening.
Oh, it is?
They check
Yeah.
for them when they go out.
Good,
good.
good.
There
Excellent.
is a window. I mean, it's not just.
Right. Right. All right. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Holbert?
Yes. So I got two things real quick I want to talk to you guys about. This was addressed a little bit in executive session as they involve two items of litigation. There's the house shed issue on 996 Corson Drive. They have a zoning hearing board application that's going to be scheduled for a hearing at the end of the month. And 225 Newtown Road. This is an application from Avenues Recovery Center. They'll also be at the zoning hearing board at the same time in reviewing these.
And where are they looking to go?
That is the old Warminster Hospital site.
Oh, right.
So,
They want to take the whole facility.
well, So they say. And then they said they didn't. So we needed a little bit more. We need a little bit more information from them. These are two ones: the engineer, code enforcement, our township manager flagged that we think it would be appropriate for our office to attend, either in the case of the Gorson Drive one, to oppose it, as we've come to learn that it was actually built on township property, and in the case of the Newtown Road and the Avenues Recovery Center, making sure they're actually doing what they're saying they're going to do, and it actually being a hospital, because in our view so far, it's looked more like a sober living facility.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so.
So all the other facilities in there will stay, right? Or they?
I guess I know Jefferson Health has offices and things.
There's
They have
office
hospices
spaces.
Yeah,
there,
there's
too.
a
They have a
physical
hospice
rehabilitation from Abington as well.
Yeah, they do, and.
I
they
get my
a lot
blood
of
work done
doctors.
there.
All right, so you'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
And we don't need a formal vote, just as everyone's okay with it, we'll tell on your behalf.
Yeah.
And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Mr. Cannon, we always save you for last.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jill said she's going to break my arm if I'm more than 5 minutes, so I think she means it. Couple
It's a warm-up.
couple updates on township projects. Warner Park lighting, pre-con meeting is scheduled for October 17th with Carr and Duff, the contractor. I am told that they anticipate construction to start October 30th, pending any issues with the football schedule, but October 30th. And then completion, weather permitting, end of January, beginning of February. Most likely probably February, probably, have some bad weather there. But that's the construction schedule for Warner Park. That was part of your ARPA funds that was used for all of that. So hopefully we'll be done by February. Another meeting happened earlier this week with the Public Works fuel tank pumping and suspension system with the contractor. I think we got a good contractor. I did not attend the meeting. Aaron and Andrew did. Aaron said the contractor seems like he's going to be great to work with. We haven't worked with him in the past, but very knowledgeable. Did almost similar system in I think it was Middletown Township, and has already made a couple recommendations to even make some small changes. So I got a very positive report from that meeting.
Great.
Real
Glad to hear it.
Just on that one, I mean, I will say, to follow what they did, I helped Aaron with the responsible contractor reviews. There are contractors we get every year. This was the contractor that was the most responsive we've ever seen, got us the information without any issues. Like I said, there's contractors we get every year for the same contracts, and they still don't know what to submit half the time, so that was a great sign to see.
Well, actually, I was holding back. Aaron said they were unbelievable. To be honest with you, and I don't like to say it before the job gets started because then something goes off. But well, yeah. But yeah, hopefully that took a while to get to that point. But hopefully we can get that wrapped up.
Excellent.
And then one last project that isn't really involving the township, but since we're talking about the golf course, we've had one meeting already. I was out there once. Actually, we've had two meetings, and we'll have a third next week. They have several projects they want to do at the golf course, and the golf course is doing well. So I met with Spirit Golf Management Team. They pointed out to everything that Dalton screwed up over the years over there.
Isn't there a green
You went from
disappearing
a
over
hero
there?
to a zero, buddy. What happened?
What we're going to do is we're going to fix all those within a year,
Okay.
or maybe
What happened?
more.
All right, so we'll have a green. Which green is
Few
it?
permits he never got, things like that.
Is there a forensic account available?
Oh,
Maybe
boy.
we should.
What happened?
There you go.
The reason there's multiple meetings is it's involving our design engineers from that handle all the permitting with the state. We're going to have to apply for a dam permit to do modifications to the yes, it's your ponds are actually, creek runs through it, and DEP is considered a dam. We got to worry about fish, all the whole 9 yards. So we have someone working on that, and then there's retaining walls that they would like to install because of the erosion, which will help also with the stream, and then a couple bridges that are need to be replaced. So we have a structural engineer out there next week, and we've already had a couple of very productive meetings. So, and I believe that is it.
I believe Jess and Judy are
I did skip
working
that.
on something for
Yeah.
the design.
For December, the Shenandoah Woods, we got off, unfortunately, in Jess has got so much going on here, and there was some information we needed, and she had to go dig it up, and then we brought in she brought in the individual with the drone work, and we decided to do survey through the drone. So that took some time, and Judy has to testify in court, or at another hearing in November. It just gives it a little more time, so the two of them will do that in December meeting.
And we'll have some nice renderings.
Yes, I haven't seen anything yet, but.
That would be
I'm told,
wonderful.
Yes.
Looking forward to
It'll be
that.
a concept
That's an exciting,
plan.
yeah, the
And that'll just be a
concept.
concept plan for Shenandoah Woods Park.
Another project long overdue. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Janice has a question.
Quick question. Any update on Arby's?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, wait, it's,
Did they pull a permit?
the permit, but we don't know, we're not sure if WMA's given them their permit.
I think.
We're
that-
good?
Monday? This is the big question in
Oh, my
Warminster.
God.
Yeah, I need to be more prepared on the Arby's, I'm sorry. Once I sign
They
off
told Liberty
everything, I
Place
just wait for
quicker.
construction to start.
So everything's, Ellen and I's approved, have all their approvals ready to go, and they were talking to the gentleman in the back there, and if it was approved on Monday, it sounds like they're.
Keep
ready
us
to
posted,
roll.
will you, Dina?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to our professionals. All right, announcements, Tom.
Before I get to the budget advertisement announcement, I wanted to see if the board is interested in canceling the October 19th meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
No objection.
No objections.
No objections.
Thank you. So the next meeting after that is scheduled to be November the 2nd, and I do think that we're going to need 2 meetings in November. So at the second meeting on the 16th, we will have the official budget presentation that evening, and hopefully at the end of that, the board will authorize advertisement of the proposed budget.
So we're the second and the
16th.
Tom, if I hit the Powerball on Saturday, I won't be joining you. I'll send lunch for you guys.
And a few extra dollars for us?
We'll be paying
I'll pay the
off
MMO for
Yeah,
you.
there you go.
All right, I'm on camera too.
We'll name it in honor of you.
You just said it, Mark.
Oh, I think they hit for a number, but that's.
Okay,
That's all I have, thank you.
all right. Thanks, Tom. All right, second round.
Oh, my gosh.
Going once, going twice.
Johnny? Oh, you're killing me.
Johnny, too late.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
disappointed,
We'll wait till next time.
disappointed.
Take an extra minute. All right, well, anyway, another great meeting, another productive meeting. That's the way we like to see the township board meetings go. Let's get through the business, have a little fun while we're doing it.
Sure.
And I thank everyone for attending, and be safe. Halloween's coming up, be safe. Watch, it's dark out, and kids are running everywhere. All right, thank you. Kathy?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone for a great meeting tonight. Bar none, we have the best professional staff of any township I know, to be honest with you. I mean, our municipal authority's doing amazing things in the township. We've got our financial director, John, working the numbers like he's amazing. We hired firefighters for the first time in the history of the township. That's amazing.
It's historic, actually.
It's amazing. I feel we are all working together to improve the quality of lives for our residents, and I want to thank our staff and all of our supervisors for a great meeting tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, good.
You're welcome.
Good.
And happy
Thank you, Mr.
Halloween.
Chairman.
Go
Oh, yeah.
Phils. Go Phils.
That's
Happy
right.
Halloween.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a nice treat dropped off at my desk here before tonight's meeting, the Warminster Kickball League.
Oh, really?
Dropped it off in
Nice.
Jersey with McKee 25 on the back. I just want to say thanks, guys. I follow them on Facebook, the Warminster Kickball League. It's pretty interesting.
Can you hold that up again?
It looks like they have a really good time.
I was just curious as to size. Is that actually?
Pretty good. And
That's an honorary shirt, right?
There you go. That's hung on his
And I'm going to
basement.
segue right into that with I want to wish everybody happy Halloween.
There you go.
And on my block, Revere Terrace, we always have a big everyone out on the front lawn. And if you're in a neighborhood, stop in, and I'll have my normal costume on. I've been told I look like Uncle Fester, so I'll have my light bulb and my normal costume on for Halloween. And
All
anybody
right.
to the neighborhood, please do stop by.
All right, Mark, thank you. Janice?
I want to wish everybody a happy October. Look out for the kids. And look out for the good in others. I mean, I know this is election season's coming up, and they call it silly season. But remember, we're all Warminster residents. Let's be nice to each other. Let's look for the good in others and not try to find fault. Hint, hint. Let's do right by each other and set the good example for our children. Thank you.
Hey, Judy?
I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween, and I want to remind you that October's a beautiful month. Try to get outside, and it is Hispanic American Heritage Month, and it's also Polish American Heritage Month. And between those two cultures and Halloween, you ought to be able to find a party somewhere. So, have a good month. Bye. Good one, Judy.
All right, thanks, everyone. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Warminster Day is the 28th. See you all there. Golf out.